And greetings. Here we are once again for our weekly wandering through our book of He Loves Me by Wayne Jacobsen. I know. Little Price is Right kind of a thing here. I don't know. Might be a dated reference. Hope your week has gone well for you thus far. Mine's been okay. It's been normal, I guess, except for I had a couple days there where I was probably sicker than I've ever been in my entire life. No, it wasn't one of the weird little things going around like COVID or something, but tummy thing. I don't know about you, but I have to say tummy stuff is probably the worst thing in the world. I mean, I've had pneumonia and I couldn't breathe and dying and everything else, and still just tummy stuff is just takes everything out of you in more ways than one. So it's kind of an unpleasant sensation, just putting it there. Today we're sticking with water, fruit juice, and fruit trace. Just saying. Anyways, this week we are into chapter 9. And this week is the chapter 9 is called The God We Love to Fear. And we start with a little quote here from G.K. Chesterton. And it says that the Christian ideal has not been tried and found wanting. It has been found difficult and left untried. That's there's something to ponder over. Anyways, we'll get right into it. This chapter here is, as we say, it's called The God We Love to Fear. So, we'll take it from there. If you have ever tried to go to sleep at night with fear preying on your mind, you know it's an incredible power. Those who motivate people for a living know that nothing works better to make people send in their money or volunteer their time and energy than fear. And after all, I mean, there's a lot to fear. Just saying. Hold on here. Trying to be smooth and suave here, you understand. We fear the unknown. We fear not having enough. We fear getting caught. We fear we'll never find the right person to marry or spend our life with. We fear for our children's safety. We fear what other people think of us or losing a loved one. We fear authority. We fear we won't get the things that we most desire. We fear rejection, failure, being taken advantage of, and being alone. We fear that something bad might happen. We fear not fitting in. We fear death. And that's just a quick little snippet here from the author. I mean, that's not even getting into 10-pound spiders and stuff like that. I knew somebody once that said the smallest spiders, just the tiniest ones, they were 5 pounds. And then they just kind of went up incrementally from there. You had to know them. But I understand it. We all have fears. Anyways, moving on. The author continues, no wonder it's not easy to sleep some nights and that we are bombarded with the symptoms of stress, everything from headaches to depression. Fear is so powerful that almost all of our human institutions use various forms of it in order to keep people under control. Just something to think about. Right? Think of the police, right? You go too fast, you're going to get a fine, right? Just an example. No, you'll probably get a fine. Anyways, to say that fear always leads us to a harmful or destructive thing isn't true. Sometimes fear can lead us to prudent decisions. The fear of getting caught could win over a temptation to do something wrong, or the fear of losing a job may help to motivate us to work harder where we otherwise might not do so. Fear of what others may think of us can lead us down the wrong path, but a fear of God may help motivate us to holiness. Interesting thought. So we don't end up seeing fear as the problem that it really is, so long as it's God that we fear the most. Now, if we were to just look at the history of Christianity, teaching people to fear God and his judgments, smite thee, has been used probably more than most other means to help hold the faithful in check. And while it is an effective means to prompt people to make an on-the-spot commitment to Christ, using fear has rarely ever led to any kind of spiritual passion or growth. You know, isn't it odd that this compelling argument to know God by fearing him seems to be completely missing in the ministry of Jesus and for those who followed him? He didn't use fear as a means to induce people into following him or to convince them. He invited those around him to know a God who loved them completely and to a kingdom more valuable than anything that they had ever known. He didn't use their fears because he knew that fear was a part of the problem, even if you're fearing God. See, Jesus knew that fear, like a crutch, was like a crutch for someone with a broken leg. It's a temporary fix at best. It can be a heady motivation in the short term, but it's absolutely worthless for the long haul. As such, it doesn't really change us. It only controls us, and only as long as our fear can be stoked up and motivated. Fear can't lead us into a lifelong transformation, but only for a moment. Only for a momentary change of behavior. I mean, eventually it wears off, right? Instead of inviting us into a relationship with God, it pushes us away with feelings of inadequacy and repeated failures. Jesus invites us into something completely different, and that is into a relationship with a loving God, not a God that is to be feared because we're scared we're gonna do something wrong, and he's waiting up there in the cloud going, I saw that you looked at her, I saw it, boom, whack, barbecued on the spot. Unfortunately, that's an image that a lot of people have. More of like kind of like the some of the other deities in historical things is like, sort of like a Zeus or something. Just can't wait to cook you. That's not the God we serve at all. I mean, the God we serve was willing to, pay for us. To come down to earth as a human being, live amongst us. Why in the world would you want to, honestly? And then, get tortured to death for us, type of thing, to take our judgment. That's not a God that's sitting up there getting ready to smack you around, okay? It's not who he is. And Jesus spent his ministry teaching that. The easiest way to do that is if you're ever reading the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, is look how he is around people, how he treats people, like, with respect and with dignity and compassion and empathy. And, none of those are, heavy-handed. Anyways, this is actually the end of our chapter. Let me see here. We've normally got a little blurb here at the end. Okay? We're trying to get these things a little better. No sock puppets this week, you notice. But I have been sick. So we'll see. We'll hold on for next week. At the end here, we've got a quote here. Luke 12, verse 32. Do not be afraid, little flock, for your Father has been pleased to give you the kingdom. Like I say, that's from Luke chapter 12, 32. Now, at the end here we have, think back to the time you first made a commitment to Christ. Did it come because you were overwhelmed with his love or because you were afraid of his punishment? When you think now of God watching your every moment, every day, do you find that comforting or terrifying? Do you see fearing him as a necessary motive to help you to avoid sin and do the things you think he wants you to do? And if so, has that thinking helped you avoid all the sin in your life? It's just some stuff to think of. For myself, on part of this, my first commitment had nothing to do with fear. Just saying. I guess if you're familiar with the story of Saul/Paul in Acts, I had very much had a road to Damascus kind of experience. And that was mine. And it was pretty overwhelming and terrifying and wonderful all at the same time. So, anyways, that would be chapter 9 of our book. Da-da-da-da. So, anyways, I hope the rest of your weekend goes well. I hope you're gleaning something from this. I hope some of this gets into your heart and into your mind, and you're sort of maybe starting to get the point a little bit that, You know, when God said He's love, He's not kidding. Anyways, yeah, I'm not going to babble much. I know, shocking. If it's Christmas, you'd say it was a miracle. I understand. But, like I say, we are all in this together, guys. You take care of each other. You know, look out for one another. And we will see you again. All right? Cool. Peace out. Hey, guys. Quick little addition on this one here, just because sort of an afterthought. Because I know there's some people who may go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't you know that fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, or the beginning of wisdom is fear of the Lord, which is back in Proverbs. And this is true enough, and it's there. But we also have, to sort of go along with this, have 1 John 4:18 sitting here. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. And the one who fears is not made perfect in love. Now, that's the NIV version here. But the two are not contradictory. The verse about wisdom, we're not talking, oh, he's going to kill me. Oh, no, I got to do as I'm told, or I'm going to get killed. He's going to mash me up and make it taste out of me and feed me to his poodle. That's not what it means. We're talking about a deep, reverent respect, okay? Think of it this way. You don't necessarily fear the police unless you're on the run from the law or something. Chances are you don't. But you should have at least enough respect for their authority to not go blowing by them on the highway doing $1.60, you know? Okay? Because there's the potential there, but you do have a respect for their authority. That's kind of the same type of thing we're talking about. It's this deep, reverent respect for who and what he is and what he can do and everything else. But it's not a fear of the Lord, okay? Just putting that out there for anybody who wants to go, whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, no. And that's certainly not the view of God that Jesus portrayed. Because keep in mind, Jesus is God. Jesus was God incarnate in the flesh. So how he was and how he acted towards people. I mean, he caught people in things all the time. You know, John 8, there's a woman caught in adultery. You can get it right there. It's not what she got, you know. And this is throughout Scripture, right? So just want to throw that out there and keep that in mind. A little tidbit to add on the end, eh? Anyways, we're back out of here. We will see you next week, probably, God willing. We'll see, hopefully. All right. Right.